my beloved brothers and sisters, today I want to share with you something many people overlook, yet it has a massive impact on your life, your worship, even your rizq. And that is the discipline of managing your sleep. Even the way we sleep is part of our deen. The Prophet Muhammad showed us by his own lifestyle that sleep is not just about closing your eyes, it's about aligning your heart and body with the Sunnah. Many of us stay awake until late hours in the night, wasting precious time, and then we struggle to wake up for Fajr. Others sleep after Fajr or Asr, and they wonder why their minds feel heavy, why they lack barakah in their lives. My brothers and sisters, the Sunnah gives us the perfect routine. Sleep at the right time, wake at the right time, and use the mornings and evenings for worship, dua, productivity. So stay tuned. In this reminder, we will explore how disciplining your sleep is not only good for your health, but it is an act of worship that can bring you closer to Allah Almighty. In Islam, sleep has its place and rest is considered a mercy from Allah. The Quran itself says, and we made your sleep for rest. So Surah and Naba. But Islam also guides us to avoid excessive sleep or sleeping at times that may deprive us of blessings, productivity and spiritual alertness. One of those times is the period after the Asr prayer until Maghrib. Many of the scholars of Islam, such as Imam Ibn al-Qayyim and Imam Ghazali, have written that sleeping after Asr is not forbidden haram, but it is discouraged because of its harmful effects. They observe that frequent sleep at this time often leads to forgetfulness, laziness and a dulling of the mind. The human body has natural rhythms. Sleeping during this period can disrupt the balance of energy, making a person feel heavy, unmotivated, and detached from spiritual awareness. The Prophet Muhammad Ali himself taught us to live a disciplined lifestyle. He divided the day into portions for worship, work, family, and rest. He would encourage taking a midday naps, qaylulat before or after dua, as this would refresh the body for the rest of the day and energize it for the night prayer. However, nowhere in the authentic narrations do we find that he encouraged sleeping after Asr. In fact, scholars noted that it was disliked because of the negative consequences observed in daily life. There are reports, though not strongly authenticated, that link sleep after Asr to forgetfulness and even to certain disturbances. While the chains of narration may be weak, the wisdom behind them is confirmed by experience. People who make it a habit to sleep after Asr often complain of disturbed sleep at night, difficulty in waking for Fajr, and a lack of focus during worship. This shows that even if there isn't a direct prohibition, the practice carries risks for both spiritual and worldly well-being. Another important point is that the time after Asr is spiritually valuable. The angels of the day and night record our deeds and exchange shifts at this very time, as mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari. This means our actions after Asr are witnessed directly by both groups of angels. If a believer spends this time in decrease remembrance of Allah, Quran recitation or dua, he earns a great deal of reward. But if he wastes this time in heedless sleep, he may miss these moments of barakah. Furthermore, the Quran encourages us to use the day as a time of productivity. And we made the day for seeking livelihood. Surah and Naba 78 in Iluin. This includes the hours after Asr when many are preparing for the close of the day. Instead of laziness and forgetfulness, a believer should strive for action, remembrance, preparing for the next prayer Maghrib. In summary, sleeping after Asr is not strictly forbidden in Islam, but it is discouraged due to its association with forgetfulness, laziness, and missed opportunities for barakah. A wise believer balances rest according to the Sunnah, making use of the day and reserving the night for deeper sleep and worship. In Islam, every portion of the day and night carries its own wisdom and blessing. The evening hours, particularly after Asr until Maghrib, are not meant to be wasted in laziness or heedlessness. Rather, these are hours of rizki, provision, effort and activity. Allah has designed the natural order of the day in such a way that human beings are energized to work during daylight and to rest during the night. Allah reminds us in the Quran, and we made your sleep a means of rest, and we made the day for seeking livelihood. So Surah An-Naba 78, 9 to 11, this verse shows that the day is the time to engage in action, movement, and seeking sustenance. By sleeping in the evening after Asr, a person disrupts this natural cycle and misses out on the blessings that Allah has placed in these hours. The Prophet taught us that the morning and evening are special times of barakah, blessings. In one narration, he made dua for his ummah. Allah, bless my ummah in their early mornings. So Sunan al-Tirmidhi, Sunan Abu Dawood, this blessing extends into the evening as well. For these are moments when a believer should be engaged in remembrance, family duties, earning halal sustenance or preparing for worship. Scholars have also mentioned that the evening hours are a time when du'as are readily accepted. At Asr, the angels of the day and night come together to witness the actions of a believer. Imagine the honor when your record is handed over to Allah while you are engaged in remembrance, worship, or productive activity. This is why laziness or sleeping at this time deprives a person of immense spiritual opportunities. On a practical level, the evening is a time when many families gather, businesses wind up their work, and preparation for Maghrib prayer begins. To waste this time in unnecessary sleep not only leads to missing out on social and family responsibilities, but also results in a sense of heaviness, forgetfulness, and loss of focus. Instead, one should dedicate these hours to acts that bring both worldly and spiritual benefit, reading Quran, making dhikr, preparing halal sustenance, or serving family needs. The Prophet encouraged Muslims to maintain balance and discipline in their routine. Sleeping excessively at the wrong times makes the body sluggish, affects concentration in salah, and prevents a believer from taking full advantage of the barakah Allah has placed in the evening. Just as the morning is blessed for starting one's day, the evening is blessed for concluding it with good deeds and gratitude. In short, the hours after Asr are not meant for sleep but for activity. They are hours of barakah, riki, and productivity. A believer who uses this time wisely will find his sustenance expanded, his du'as answered, and his heart filled with peace. Islam teaches us that every moment of our life is valuable. Time is a gift from Allah, and how we use it determines our success in this world and the hereafter. Among the most important times of the day is the period shortly before Maghrib Salah, when the sun is about to set. The Prophet Muhammad disliked wasting this blessed and sensitive time because it is a moment of spiritual significance. The Quran reminds us, establish prayer at the two ends of the day and at the approach of the night. Surah Had 11-21. This verse highlights the importance of observing the prayers at their proper times, including the crucial transition between day and night. Asr and Maghrib mark this transition, and the moments between them should not be wasted in heedlessness or laziness. Scholars have explained that the Prophet discouraged sleeping or engaging in idle activities close to Maghrib. Instead, he encouraged remembrance of Allah, making dua, or preparing oneself mentally and physically for the next prayer. This is because Maghrib is not just another salah, it is a spiritual marker. It separates the day from the night, and the time of sunset carries unique blessings. It is narrated that the Prophet advised Muslims to be careful at sunset, especially regarding children. He said, when the sun sets, keep your children indoors, for the devil spread out at that time. The Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, this shows that the time around Maghrib is not an ordinary moment. It is a time when unseen forces are more active, and a believer should be alert, engaged in remembrance, and protective of his environment. Wasting this time in negligence or unnecessary activities deprives a person of both protection and barakah. From a practical perspective, wasting time close to Maghrib often leads to missing the prayer itself, delaying it unnecessarily, or entering the prayer with a distracted and tired heart. The Prophet emphasized that prayer performed at its earliest time is the most beloved to Allah. Sunan al-Tumidi, to delay Maghrib or to treat this period carelessly, is to lose out on the opportunity to stand before Allah in the best state. Furthermore, sunset is a moment when du'as are especially powerful. Many scholars have encouraged believers to make dua in this window, asking Allah for forgiveness, guidance, and provision. If one spends this time sleeping, gossiping, or engaged in worldly distractions, he misses out on these special opportunities for closeness to Allah. In essence, the Prophet disliked wasting time close to Maghrib because it is a sacred transition, a time of remembrance, and a moment of spiritual opportunity. A wise believer uses this period to prepare for Salah, engage in dhikr, and bring barakah into the home by filling it with Quran and supplication. Islam is not only a religion of rituals but a complete way of life. It gives guidance on how to pray, eat, speak, earn, and even how to sleep. The Prophet Muhammad demonstrated through his actions that managing one's sleep is an essential part of a disciplined and productive lifestyle. Unlike excessive sleep that weakens the heart and makes one negligent, the Sunnah sleep routine helps a believer stay balanced, energized, and connected with Allah. The Quran describes sleep as a sign of Allah's mercy, and we made your sleep a means of rest, and we made the night as a covering, and we made the day for livelihood. Surah An-Naba 70-89-11, this verse shows that sleep has a purpose. It is meant to refresh the body and prepare a person for worship and work. However, when sleep is not managed properly, it leads to laziness, missed prayers, and wasted opportunities. The Prophet had a disciplined sleep schedule. He would sleep early after Isha and wake up in the last part of the night for Tahajjud. This habit teaches us that one should avoid late night distractions and instead dedicate the night for rest and worship. Sleeping at the wrong times, such as long naps after Fajr or Asr, goes against the natural rhythm of the body and the Sunnah lifestyle. Scholars mention that such habits often bring forgetfulness, laziness and a lack of motivation. The Sunnah also encourages Kailula, a short midday nap before Dhuhr, which the Prophet recommended as a means of recharging. It was never about excessive sleep, but about using rest wisely. This balance allowed the Prophet and his companions to remain active, focused, and spiritually alert throughout the day. Discipline in managing sleep also strengthens a believer's relationship with Salah. When you sleep on time, you can wake up for Fajr easily without heaviness in your heart. When you avoid sleeping after Asr, you remain mentally and spiritually awake to prepare for Maghrib. And when you rest wisely, you have the energy to stand for Tahajjud, one of the most rewarding acts of worship. From a worldly perspective, good sleep discipline increases productivity. Many successful people today talk about the benefits of rising early and managing rest carefully, but this was already taught in the Sunnah 400 years ago. The Prophet said, "O Allah, bless my ummah in the mornings." Sunnah Abu Dawood. This hadith shows that Barakah, the blessing, is placed in the early hours, not in wasted nights or long evening naps. In short, managing sleep is not just a health tip, it is a spiritual discipline. The Sunnah teaches us to honor time, avoid laziness, and structure our lives in a way that brings us closer to Allah. A believer who follows this balance will find both worldly success and spiritual peace.